Recent incidents of unrest in schools has been the subject of national debate in recent weeks, with many trying to find possible solutions. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha and his interior counterpart Dr. Fred Matiang'i are now mulling plans to reintroduce caning. Is this the way to go? Let's find out.
The Ministry of Education reported fires in more than 30 schools this year alone as a result of violent unrest that has been witnessed across the country. The trend seemingly continuing unabated despite several task forces being formed in the efforts to identify the root causes and implement recommendations. Speaking on Monday, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha and his interior counterpart Dr. Fred Matiang'i have said that only the reintroduction of corporal punishment will tame the ever-increasing cases of indiscipline and schools unrest in the country.
The only difference at my time was that I used to be a prefect, but I used to be caned at the same time. And if I was not caned 6 strokes of the best on more than 6 occasions, you would not be seeing Magoha, son of Magoha, standing here as a cabinet secretary, I can assure you.
We need to have a conversation on parenting in our country and discipline in our schools. And tusiwachie mambo hii kwa serikali, the government. Hapana, it's work that we need to do. We have buried our heads in the sand for too long, especially from the point of view of parenting.
In 2016, a special committee led by Matiang'i, who was the Education Cabinet Secretary at the time, highlighted that some recommendations made by the 2008 Koech report and the 2001 Wangai report were yet to be implemented. The 2016 report partly mentioned the role of politicians and even the media in fueling the vice through uncontrolled reportage and sustained focus on the fires. So, could these students be mimicking society? CS Magoha recently rubbished the idea that the unrest was as a result of stress due to the global pandemic and the speeding up learning in order to cover the syllabus.
It looks mundane and juvenile for somebody in high school to burn a building. What has the building done to you? And let us not pretend that we are burning the building because of stress from corona. That is not true.
However, counseling psychologist Dr. Susan Gitao is of a contrary opinion.
I will actually keep reinstating that mental health in schools is a big issue. Because those schools that I sit in as a member of Board of Management, there is what we do. We assess the stress levels of those students. We allow them to talk. We organize for peer counseling training. And we are able to get seriously that these children are stressed.
The Basic Education Act of 2013 stipulates that no child is to be subjected to torture and cruel, inhumane or degrading treatment or punishment in any manner, whether physical or psychological. Juvenile delinquency continues to take root in secondary schools. As recently as January this year, the DCI began arresting, charging in court and storing information of students suspected of arson. All this in a bid to curb the trend. Over the past 2 months, several students have been arraigned over the same. And even as education stakeholders scramble to find solutions, some of them, including a section of parents, have suggested the return of caning in schools, which currently is outlawed in institutions of education.
Somebody trying to say we need to bring back the cane. We are a country that does not uphold research. Because if we do serious research, caning is still ongoing. Parents are still caning their children. But why was the cane removed? Because it was more abusive than actually corrective or rehabilitative.
Indiscipline has been mentioned as one of, if not the main cause of school unrest in recent discussions.
Things actually that is missing on a massive scale. One is, having what we call a counseling or psychology department.
I go for positive discipline. And it's very sad that we have some government bodies, some non-governmental bodies that came together some 5 years ago and put up a training manual so that the teacher does not complain that the cane was removed, I was never empowered. That positive discipline manual has never seen the light of day.
Findings from the various reports tabled by the task forces formed over the years have almost similar layout. from diet to the facilities to indifference with those in authority. The question now seems to be not what is causing the fires, but why the recommendations made are not working. Elizabeth Query, NTV.